Hi, Jan here. I've got Neil with me today.
Hiya.
And just wanted to do a little video about prepping and what about the water?
Water's important.
I've got Neil here because he is a water expert.
I'm a qualified plumber in the UK here.
So I thought I can ask him some questions that maybe we don't know, or some of you might know the answer to, but if the water were to go off,
yeah,
I've got a tank of water upstairs, can't I use that?
Well, normally it's recommended that we use mains water instead of stored water for directly drinking. So we don't actually know how long that water's actually been sat there, and whether it is absolutely clean, or if it hasn't got a proper lid on and it's not secure, you might get bugs. You can get mice and maybe little birds might be nesting in the loft. Anything like that. I've actually found animals in tanks when actually replacing them. Yeah. So that does happen. So
you don't drink water unless it's from a tap on mains?
On mains, yeah.
How do you know if it's a tap on mains?
Well, mains pressure in the UK is a lot higher normally than tank fed water. And normally the easiest way is if you go to the tap and put your thumb over it as tight as you can,
spray the kitchen,
and it will literally, you turn the tap on really quickly and it will spray out, and you normally can't stop it by putting your thumb. If however it's tank fed, you'll normally be able to stop it just with your thumb. Your thumb has to be over the tap before you turn it on, because even if it's low pressure as you try and it'll spray. But if you put your thumb directly over the tap, seal all the gap and then turn it on for a second, mains pressure will just squirt out and a low pressure will be held back by your thumb. Right.
Well, what I've been thinking about is I've been prepping, as you know, since before I met you.
Yeah, yeah.
And it suddenly occurred to me the other day, I've got all this rice, I've got pasta, I've got all these things which are useless without water.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about power cuts and that interrupting the water supply. Is the water to the house pumped by some sort of electrical thing somewhere that has nothing to do with me?
I think it can vary quite how they actually supply the pressure. Now I don't know if you're aware, but when we've gone for drives out in the in the countryside and stuff, sometimes you actually get these water towers where it's pumped up. And you get
there's one near the vets.
And you get these big towers that hold water up high, and so they pump it up, and then that is what we get
the pressure from. But there's one up Tower Road,
right next
to the vets, isn't there? Did you know?
I didn't.
Next time we go there, I'll point
I didn't actually know. So, but yeah, so there is different means of how it's pressurised.
Right, so it's possible that
pressure may stay.
If the power goes off, we may have water still to the tap, but there's always situations when that's interrupted a bit. Like last year, was it, where there was a mains burst around the corner and there was a big flood?
Yeah.
We were really lucky; it missed our house, so we had water coming to our house, and some people round the corner lost the water coming to the house, but it was going through their houses, and you know, it was a complete mess.
And we do actually there have been other times in other places where for some reason they might turn off the water and people might need to go to standpipes, which might be a long way away.
Oh, you're talking about
Cranley, wasn't it?
Well, Cranley, yeah. No, they took bottled water to Cranley.
Right.
But I was thinking back to the drought of 1976 when they were putting standpipes up and people had to go and collect water from standpipes. So yeah, these things do happen from time to time.
Yeah.
And so as a prepper, I have a few of these big 5 litre,
5 litres,
5 litre bottles, just in case. I keep them in a dark cupboard, and they are real emergency, immediate use. And I know a lot of preppers just have bottles and bottles and bottles of water.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's me and you, and three big dogs here. We're going to need an awful lot of those just for drinking water, let alone cooking as well. So I started thinking, That's when it gets dangerous, isn't it?
Jan and thinking.
So I started thinking, and I thought, because you know, my prepping has always been under the thought that there would always be water in the tap.
Yeah.
But now, possibly
It's not
there may not be
guaranteed, is
water
it?
in the tap. So, where do we go from there? And I'm thinking, oh, we're fine. We've got Buckham Park Lake. We've got Ifield Mill Pond. We've got lakes everywhere in Crawley. And I thought we could just trundle along there with the aqua roll from the caravan, and well, I thought you could.
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean,
and drag it the 2 miles.
you don't have a dog and bark yourself, do you? I mean,
Exactly. Or I could even go on my big mobility scooter and put the dog trailer on the back and fill it up with whatever.
yeah.
And then it suddenly occurred to me, I don't, you know, I've only got half a brain, but this is why it took so long. Right at the very end of our road, we've got a brook.
Yeah.
And for anybody who doesn't know, a brook is kind of in between a stream and a river.
Yeah.
So it's bigger than a stream, not as big as a river. And that, it doesn't terminate at the end of our road, it's actually culverted, so it goes underground.
Yeah.
And it is either underground, either right under our house or just in front or just to the back. So we could find it if we dowsed for it, but then it would mean going through concrete pipes or something.
Well, and then
so
you've got to work out, was that the drainage you've just found, or was that the water? Yeah. You know, because
you don't want to go
just in
into the
case
sewage.
if you were to douse for it, just the fact of it's moving water doesn't mean to say it's clean.
Right, but go down to the end of our walk, and just the other side of the road is where it's still on the surface.
You can see it, yeah.
So I've got a present for you.
Oh, that's my job then.
Yeah, that's your job. So I thought you could go down and this is only £1 in, what was it, Halfords I got this one, or B&Q do them as well. And it's a bucket with a pouring lid.
Yeah.
So that would be alright to get it out of.
But then you want
brook.
some containers, it's like you want some of those containers that are empty to take with you and
so,
pour it
because
out.
you'd need to have it covered up or else you'd lose it all on the way home. I was saying earlier about him going down with a milkmaid's yoke and a couple of buckets each side. So, or the aqua roll still, that's still an option. So we need a bit of rope or even a dog lead on the bucket so you can dangle it down, pull it up, fill up something else, bring it home. But that's not going to be safe to drink. Even though it looks really nice and clean, we can't drink it straight from there. So, I have another plan.
Right, what's your next plan?
Next part of my plan is
cooking it.
no, I've got a colander there
Right.
and a tea towel.
Right.
So put that over it, and then don't know if you can see what I've done there. So we can strain it through there, so only if the bigger particles will be strained out.
Just guessing, but wouldn't we? Oh yeah, I guess it'll just go through the material.
Well, if there's leaves or
well, I was going to say you could have
bugs or
you could have like another one on top because you want the biggest debris taken out first, and then the smaller one. I was just thinking the sieve works great, but if you actually put it through another sieve first to take any larger debris.
The colander is only to stop the tea towel falling into the thing, but then you'll get kind of, to a certain degree, strained water.
Yeah.
But then, once it's done that, that's still not good enough to drink, so then we go on to this part of the plan.
Right.
We haven't opened this yet. Do you want to get a knife and open it up for me?
I will. Carefully open it up.
I got this from Amazon. And there's a lot of different choices on Amazon. Obviously you've got the very famous Berkey that is also very expensive.
Well, maybe lots of people, I mean, I guess only preppers are probably watching this, are they? Because, I mean, maybe preppers would have a
Well,
Berkey,
no,
but
this is my personal channel, so it could be people who watch car boot
I haven't heard of Berkey before.
Haven't you?
No,
Oh,
I mean, it's not...
I'm the prepper in the family, so I know this stuff. But you're all learning now, you see. This is a learning
Well, we've never looked at
learning
this.
curve.
Never...
Yeah, we've never had this out before, so...
If I hold that about there, you might see it as you take it out, maybe.
So this is a water... a water purifier.
It's just a box in a box. It needs the other box taken out.
Well, if you just do that. If you watch any of my unboxing videos, it goes a bit like this. Look, I'm holding the bottom. Just lift the other one.
I'm just a bit cack-handed, that's all. See? Told you. Right. Excellent.
That'll do for eBay stuff. And this is a Phoenix water purifier.
This looks good.
So, as I say, there's lots and lots and lots of different types of these, but they're all pretty much the same. Well, if I hold the box, it's probably, you're stronger than me, you can lift it out.
Okay.
That's it. Can I put this behind you now?
And more knifing. Knife? Do you want a knife?
Well, I'm just...
Or scissors?
I suppose scissors might be better. I'm a bit dangerous with knives in the kitchen, Neil, you know that.
Pair of black scissors.
Yeah, excuse me while I'm just...
Well, we've never opened it,
see,
so it's...
This is a live unboxing of a Phoenix water purifier. And like I say, I looked at all the different makes of these, and the only difference essentially is the filter that it comes with. And I chose this one in the end because this one will work both with the cartridges that come with it, but also the top brand cartridges. You can buy them and use them in it. So instead of paying £450, £500 or whatever a Berkey is, I could just get the filters.
Do you want to just bump it?
Yeah, this, you have to lift this bit up.
That bit. Right. Oh, it's stuck in there, isn't it?
Yeah, because they pack down for storage. And so this is a stainless steel container that has, don't know if you can see,
hole
in the bottom for a tap. And then...
Bear with me. The dogs.
Oh, I've lost my co-host. That will be the lid.
I've just left the door open from. Sorry about that.
And then you have this top chamber that I don't know if you can see has got 4 holes in the bottom, 2 are blanked off, and the other 2 you put the cartridges in, but you can use 4 cartridges at a time
if you need it to process really quick.
For faster filtering if you want to. And then you've got the
you've got the cartridges.
It comes with 2 cartridges, and I think this was £169 altogether.
And when you were watching this, weren't they saying they last a year?
Yeah. All of these systems say they will last however long, but that depends on the purity of the water that you're putting through. If you're putting tap water through, they're going to last a lot longer than if you get just taking your orange bucket and tipping it straight in.
Makes a lot of sense.
So, you know, these cartridges do need replacing at times, but that goes through the hole at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then as the water comes in contact with this, it soaks through here and then drips out of the bottom into the bottom chamber there.
Nice.
And you've got that lid that goes on the top. Obviously it hasn't got the knob on the lid yet. And in this box somewhere, where's the box that had the... The other reason I chose this particular one is this one comes with a metal tap. Oh!
That's not a metal tap.
No, that's a lovely water bottle. I didn't know it had that.
No, that's nice.
Oh, I like a water bottle.
That's the tap you're referring to.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, this one has a metal tap. All the others seem to have a plastic one, which On the video, she said that the metal one had a faster flow rate,
yes.
so when you're actually pouring out your purified water,
it'll have a bigger diameter.
It would have a bigger diameter. So you've got a little spigot there.
Which is nice.
And that would, I'll just take the screw off, I can show you how it would look. I'm not putting it all together now because you've got to wash it all, obviously it's only just arrived from the factory, so it's all got to be washed before it's assembled properly. But that's how it will go on like that. Can you see?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's showing on the video there. I can't see from here.
We could pick it up and put it in. Hold it and you could show it.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a tap.
People can use their imagination.
It's a tap and it goes straight
inside. And then you
inside.
can get stands for these, so they're higher up on your counter, so you can put a cup underneath them. But an awful lot of people just have them like that, and then you can just use it from the edge.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Or we could even use one of the dog bowl stands and stand it on that. That would be strong enough to hold it. So then you've got, according to their literature, by the time it's coming out of this tap, it's pure enough to drink. But if there was any doubt, I also have backup.
Backup, right.
In the form of colloidal silver, which could be added in small quantities to the water, or this is actually official, what do they call it? Drinking water disinfectant. And this comes in 2 bottles and you mix them together. Yep. And together they make well, chlorine or a bleach that you just have a couple of drops in a whole big thing, and so
obviously read the instructions for the exact
well, yeah, I've got these. I'm pretty sure I got those on Amazon, so you can, if you just look up drinking water disinfectant, and it's 50% citric acid and then 50% something else.
Something else, yeah.
I'm very technical, aren't I? But
well, I mean, the thing is, even if you had the exact name of it, most people aren't going to have heard of it. You can get it on Amazon.
This is BioTrax, but I expect other brands are available as well. But between all of that, and like I say, we'll filter up the big bit, then we'll tip from that pot into this one, allow it to filter through. I think it takes about 8 to 11 hours with 2, they call them candles, to filter. But if we did decide that we wanted, if we suddenly more people moved in with us, you know, in zombie apocalypse, you know, we might have to be looking after other people.
I was actually just thinking of an idea.
Would you like to come in a little bit and tell us your idea? Because you're disappearing towards the sink, and it's not to do the washing up, is it?
I was just wondering if having to go to a stream, whether you could actually get a hose pipe and take it up on a big stick kind of thing and create a siphon. So instead of having to go down, you could actually siphon it up and then have it pour into a bucket. You
very possibly could, but if it's hit the fan and we're having to purify our water, there might be an awful lot of people that might want to be using your siphon system to fill their buckets.
Yeah.
And of course the other thing is, if you don't have a water purifier, and you can make these yourself, you just buy the filters and then use a couple of buckets and drill holes in them. You can get the plastic taps quite easily. You could just boil the water. Once it's got all the bits filtered out, it might not taste very good, but it would be probably safe to drink. But anyway, there's a million videos on YouTube about how to make safe drinking water out of not safe water. And then we're just down to the situation, okay, we can drink, we can cook, we're okay about that. How do we do our washing up? That's an awful lot of water. I mean, do we just boil up some... If we've still got some coming to the tank, no matter what sort of state it's in, I suppose we could use that. What about the toilet? Are we going to have to go out and dig holes in the wood and pee in the garden or something?
You see, I personally think that it would probably be best to continually use the drainage system, because it already flows to the right place and you're not depositing stuff here, there and everywhere. If you've got enough water to allow it to actually put a bucket of water down there.
So you could just go down to the brook and get a bucket of water and come back and flush the loo with it.
Yeah, and
that would be fine.
And the
because
thing
nobody's
is,
going to be drinking it.
if you think about it, you could leave the waste there for maybe half a day with the lid on it or whatever. You could have 2 or 3 loos using the loo, and then go down kind of once or twice a day and just grab a bucket to flush your loo.
Yeah, and of course the other thing is, I don't know how we'd cope about washing clothes and things. Just have to send him down with washing, and he could beat it against a rock while he's getting the water.
Yeah, I mean, but anyone who's got a garden that could have a water butt, I wouldn't want to be particularly using non-flowing water for drinking, even going through the processes ideally. But if you had a water butt, that would be ideal for your wastewater.
That's a very good idea, actually, yeah.
For flushing.
And especially at times like we've had the last few days where we've had so much rain that we could have filled a butt several times over. And that would be okay for flushing, or if even possibly washing clothes in.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be well. Obviously, the thing is with water butts, a lot of water butts that have been outside have been there for many years. That they've not been cleaned in any way. If you knew this was coming,
all sorts of things growing in it.
If you knew this was coming, kind of from now, get out there, clean your water butt, make sure it's not just looking green and grim and whatever. And that it's of a reasonable kind of standard. If you then need to use that, I know my mum and dad have water butts that have been there for 10, 20 years or more. And
do they never use the water in it, or your mum?
I think they do in the summer.
They probably use it on their garden, don't they?
But they probably would never have been cleaned inside. They've always probably just had water in them.
And of course, the other thing is when we use the aqua roll for the caravan, we used to put Milton tablets in there to sterilise it. If it had been over winter without being used, then I used to throw in some Milton.
Absolutely.
I mean, having a bottle of Milton in the cupboard is a good idea for that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think these things are great, but it's all temporary, isn't it? I don't know how we could live long term without a water source that's better than just collecting it from the brook. Although,
well, our ancestors obviously did.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it didn't come out of the tap, then we're going to have to. But in the meantime, we can at least drink safely, cook safely, and I'm not going to be throwing away all that rice and pasta, because what's the point of having it if
Yeah. Now it does sound also with the brook that we've got. At a time that if we started to need to do that, the other thing to do is to have a little walk upstream a certain way and find out that people haven't started. What if other people start putting their waste toilet stuff upstream because for some reason they've decided to do that instead of using drainage or something like that. So always check upstream from anywhere that you're taking in. It says chemicals or anything like that. If you can, do a little recce and see that there isn't a whole load of stuff that you really wouldn't want.
The brook, when it comes out of the culvert, it's not actually sort of right in front of people's houses. It would mean that people would then have to carry things quite a long way to chuck it in the brook. They're more likely to just
I think for us, we'll probably be fine. This is kind of like a reference to anyone else watching who has a stream.
It is important to think about these things, because years ago we used to get all our water from a well in Hascombe.
Yeah.
Which is at the side of a road, and people do go along and collect water there, and it is tested from time to time. But there was one time that I had some water in between testing, and I became incredibly ill with a hepatitis that was up to that point unknown. I was the only one that they'd ever heard of that had it. And I remember being really, really poorly and going to see the doctor in the January. and him saying, we hope to have you feeling better by July. And I remember that heart-sink feeling, thinking, July?
Yeah.
And that was drinking water that is normally tested, but they think that somebody had maybe what's you call when you're not on main sewage, something had...
It was like a ruptured cesspit.
Yeah, seeped into the water supply.
And I believe that they were testing that either once a week or once a fortnight. And also there was people actually travelling down from London that would come and get that water.
And even the stuff that made me really ill tasted good.
Yeah.
You can't go by taste, you know. I mean, you can't see these pathogens in the water. You've got to be so careful. So I'm so pleased that we've got our little system now.
Absolutely.
And then after I spent £169 on this, I watched a video on YouTube of a lady who made one with 2 big saucepans like this.
Yep.
And a drill and a couple of filters.
Why not?
For really, really cheap. But you can't get this size saucepan really, really cheap in the UK. And of course it's got to be deep enough to take the height of the filter.
Yeah.
Although I have seen some of the other filters that are a bit shorter. But anyway, you know, I hope that gave you some food for thought. Maybe some ideas about how you can prepare for your family.
Yeah.
Because let's hope we never need it. But that's what being a prepper is all about, is it's in case, just in case we need it. Sounds good to me. But like I say, thank you very much. It was odd interviewing my husband on my YouTube channel. And then having to sit quietly and listen to him. Normally I don't.
Yeah.
But no, thank you, because you know things about taps and stuff that I don't.
Yeah. And
once I've washed it all out, I will let you assemble the tap pot. That's your job.
That is my job, yes.
Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you know, keep dropping in for other videos. I'll be doing more prepping videos because, like I say, I've been doing it since forever, and maybe I've got some value that some of the other preppers haven't thought about. So, you have to turn it off because I can't reach.
Bye.
Bye.
Is that off?
No, it's the little button to the left.